got a joke. What do you get when you combine a P90 and an MP7? The PP-19. Hey guys, Nightfall here, and after hours upon hours of using the PP-19 and getting it almost to level 200 in under 24 hours, I've tinkered with this thing long enough to bring you the absolute best PP-19 build that you can make in this game. I've had numerous 60 plus kill games, including the one you're watching now, and an 80 plus kill game with this thing. It is an absolute beast, and just because it's an SMG doesn't mean you have to shy away from those mid-range gunfights. If you saw my video yesterday, you got the chance to see just how good this build really is in that 80 plus kill game. Now, keep in mind that this is an all-around PP-19 build, meaning you can use it on any map, any game mode, anywhere, anytime. If you want more of a close quarters combat for like specifically Arena or Rockefeller, make sure you smash that like button and let me know in the comments and I'll get right on that. But let's jump into this build here. Since the rapid fire and muzzle booster nerf kind of just tanked most weapons and the range that they have, they're not really just an easy go-to anymore. This mostly affects assault rifles and just turns them into SMG builds when you throw them on there. But reducing range on SMGs when trying to make a good overall build just ain't it. And if you use builds like this with the Highwaymen, you don't even need to worry about the rapid fire barrel anymore. So of course, we tossed both of those attachments in the trash on all of our weapons, including this one. And instead, our first attachment on this God mode build is the barrel extender. Just to give it that extra oomph at range. Sure, it does lower your sprint to shoot time, but SMGs already have a fast ADS and sprint to shoot, so that doesn't really matter. Also, it does lower your recoil recovery, but again, as I've said many times in the past, this mechanic doesn't actually even work. So who really cares? They can make it negative 100% for all I care. The next attachment on this bad boy is, yep, you guessed it, the chrome line barrel. Why not give it even more range than it already had? I did toss around the idea of the heavy barrel, but it already does 20 damage at short range and 14 at mid and 12 at long. So adding 1 to the short doesn't really do anything. Adding 1 to the mid range to make it 15 instead of 14 sounds at first like it might help, but it still takes 7 shots to kill if they're all body shots, with and without the heavy barrel. So more range is going to be the route here. Now, I'll give you some alternatives later on if you want some different options depending on your gameplay style, but for me, it's the range that's helping a ton with this build. For the front rail, we have a small horizontal grip that gives you back some of that ADS speed lost with the barrel extender, but it also gives you 10% ADS walking speed. This is especially good for those short to mid-range gunfights if you strafe a lot, and if you're not someone who strafes a lot, you need to learn, because honestly, that's how most gunfights are going to be won. You don't need to be the fastest bunny hopper on XDefiant. Just have good calculated movement, strafe left and right a little bit while keeping your aim centered, and you'll be fine. You'll be taking out those losers on pogo sticks faster than this game died. Next up, optics. And I know I'm about to let the cult down here, but I'm rocking iron sights on this puppy. It is by far one of the cleaner iron sights in the game, and I don't feel like I need a sight on it. It also frees up an attachment slot so that we can actually make the rest of this build possible. But if you just absolutely cannot do iron sights, this is where I would recommend taking off that barrel extender. You're only losing about 2 meters of range and you're actually gaining that ADS speed back. But if you can aim better with a sight, then it might be worth it. But iron sights probably are the best move here, and I apologize to the hollow sight cult. I've let you down. Then the mag. I went with the quick mag because there's no downside here. More bullets, faster reload time. I mean, hello? Is this even a question? Then the final attachment that we have on here is the rear grip, and it's gonna be a fabric grip. And let me say a few things on why. So for starters, you get more ADS speed, which now makes it slightly faster than stock after the hit it took earlier from the barrel extender, but also the ADS boost we got from the other attachments as well. But it also gives you more ADS stability. A lot of people will say to use the quick draw grip on a lot of weapons, but that's a mistake. And if you haven't seen my quick draw grip quality check video, you should go check that out for a more in-depth look on what specifically I mean by that. But specifically for SMGs, the faster ADS and sprint to shoot time, you never really notice in game. It's already fast enough, so you're just wasting a spot with this. But also, you lose ADS stability by 15% with the quick draw grip, and for those that don't understand what ADS stability is, let me give you a quick rundown. ADS stability helps with the randomness, if you will, of where your shots are going. Think of it sort of like hipfire spread, but for ADS. Go do your own test. Go in the firing range, shoot a weapon with no attachments, look at the recoil pattern. Then throw a fabric grip on there, do the same thing. The highest point for the vertical recoil is still the same, but the pattern looks more compact, more condensed. Just makes it easier to stay accurate, especially at range. I've also seen people saying to use the grip tape on this gun, or any gun for that matter, and what I want you to do right now is pause the video and find whoever told you that, unsub, unfollow, delete your browsing history, whatever you need to do to stay away from that person, because they're crazy. Maybe don't actually do that, that's probably overreacting, but let me hit you with the facts because we all love facts. Grip tape makes your ADS speed slower. It gives you 5% better vertical recoil control, which is nothing. And with the aim assist in this game, if you can't control vertical recoil on like 90% of these weapons, then do better. But the biggest selling point of this grip is plus 15% recoil recovery. And like we talked about earlier, that mechanic is broken. It does not work. Recoil recovery is supposed to recenter your aim after you stop firing, meaning if you go into the firing range, shoot your weapon, don't even touch your right stick at all, shoot the entire clip, and after that clip, it'll recenter back to where you started shooting automatically. If it doesn't, you have stick drift and you probably need a new controller, and I've heard the GameSir GSE or whatever it is a good cheap controller with Hall effect joysticks, so maybe look into that. But now go do the same thing, but this time try to control the recoil just a little bit. Still let that vertical recoil bring your movement up a tad, but when you're done, you'll notice instead of it snapping back, it just stays wherever you stopped shooting. This happens because that recoil recovery mechanic that we keep talking about does not work. Anytime you touch your right stick or your mouse to control your recoil, it automatically negates any recoil recovery. And plus, even if it did work, all it's going to do is make it snap back faster to the center. But let's snap back to reality, it still doesn't work like it should, so don't use this attachment on this gun or any gun because it's worthless. I will say an honorable mention here would be the folded stock if you're a movement player, because it does give you that little extra movement speed and it reduces hip fire accuracy, but who the hell is hip firing in this game? It's already ass to begin with. And if you haven't already swapped out the barrel extender for a sight, I would recommend swapping out that same barrel extender for this. So yeah, there you have it. This is the best PP-19 build you'll find anywhere on the internet. Come at me. If you use this build and you have some crazy kill streak clips with it or a high kill game, make sure to tag me on Twitter with those clips or screenshots. Link for my Twitter will be in the description, and I'll catch you in the next one.